All right, good stuff. We're in, and we are here for game numero 3 for Viper and DauT versus TaToH and Nicov Grand Finals for the Return of the Kings 2 versus 2. Hopefully we're going to smash through that 3K viewer mark during this game as well, so that's pretty exciting as things are hotting up in this best of 5. Once again, I'm joined by Resonance22, and Nilpford is controlling the camera. So we're going to do our best to give you the best coverage of this game as we possibly can. But go ahead, Rez, and introduce some stuff.
Yep. It's always a pleasure to be here. If you guys miss any of the respective matches, you can find them on either my YouTube channel or Zach's or any of the other casters. We are into the next game of the finals, and the matches before this have been absolutely excellent. We have the Viper playing as the red Vietnamese, and he'll be teaming up with DauT playing as the green Mongols. On the other side of the map, the top side, we have Nicov playing as the yellow Berbers, and we have TaToH playing as the blue Aztecs. The draft during this game was fascinating, and I think one of the first things I'd like to touch on is that we're seeing the Berbers here against the Mongols, and I feel like that was a conscious pick as a counter. The Camel Archers is a way to deal with those Mangadai.
Yeah, I think so too, because the Mongols were picked in the first phase, and the Berbers were picked in the second phase after Nicov and TaToH knew about that Mongol pick. So it is a good counter. But then, with the Viper taking the Vietnamese, I feel like the Rattan Archers play into that dynamic by having a very strong ability to deal with the Camel Archers themselves. So, obviously, the Mongols are expected to go Mangadai. The other civs kind of have a little bit more versatility in that sense. I think if you're playing as the Mongols, nearly every game, it's expected that you're going to be making those Mangadai, and you're going to be a late game powerhouse, maybe with some siege onagers as well, depending on how late the game goes, and all of that good stuff with the hussars to back it up. So that's kind of what's expected of the Mongols, and I think that's not changed at all with these expansions either. And that kind of gives Nicov and TaToH, I guess, maybe an edge, because they know what to expect quite early on. I think the Aztecs can be a little bit more versatile there. Now, obviously, a lot of players are expecting monks from the Aztecs, but in the late game, they could start making a lot of eagles. They could also go for some very good heavy cavalry. They could even throw in arbalest if they like. I mean, whatever. The point is really that I think it's really a strong counter pick for TaToH and Nicov, and I think they're going to basically be trying to counter-strat what DauT and Viper are planning. Also, I mean, I wouldn't count out early aggression from Nicov and TaToH either. Already, you can see the Viper's map. If you take a look here, he's not got a very good map at all for a safe wall-off at home. He's actually forced to make the wall-off at the river, and that means that TaToH could go ahead and do a landing like we saw in an earlier game this tournament, with him and Nicov going together with the Aztec monks and the conquistadors. This time around, it could be the Aztec monks and the Berbers Camel Archers. Let's see.
And it's like you said, I think the name of the game is counters. I feel like TaToH and Nicov were trying consciously to pick civilizations that they thought could beat their opponents. The Aztecs are a cool one too. I feel like between the Mongols and the Vietnamese, that neither civilization has a clean answer to things like elite eagle warriors, for example. The Vietnamese champion's missing blast furnace, not super great. And as the Mongols, they don't want to be making champions either, so that's always an option. And they just apply a lot of pressure early on. Speaking of pressure, the Viper will be putting down a barracks. I also think it's interesting, like you mentioned before, that the Rattan Archer is a pretty good answer to those Camel Archers and whatnot. Some very strong trash between both civilizations, the Genitor for one team and the Imperial Skirmish on the next, so we could see a long game with how easy it is to defend. The barracks coming down? Wonder what the Viper's plan is, because that's absurdly early, isn't it?
Yeah, that is super early. I mean, normally, if you're going to rush, the barracks goes down about 6 minutes, 30 seconds. So he's already finished the barracks before 6 minutes. So Viper here, what's his next move? He's moving his villager out to the left to build a house. I think he's just walling it up. But the militia are coming out, and I think what he's going to do is just delete a piece of palisade and go through with those militia. But yeah, the barracks is very early, and normally players won't build the barracks until later, because they will then have more villagers gathering food, and they'll be able to keep villager production and militia production going. Since this is Yucatan, there is a lot of extra food here in terms of boar and deer, and they're incredibly quick to gather from, and that's actually enabling Viper to do a faster rush. And this might catch TaToH off guard, because if you've been playing this game for thousands of hours like these guys have, you're very much accustomed to knowing the timings of these things by heart. TaToH's going to know at, like, 8 minutes, okay, this is when the Drush might start coming in, maybe more like 9 minutes even. He's probably not expecting at 7 minutes 30, and so this is going to catch him out completely as Viper breaks his wall and goes through with the militia.
And then he closes it up immediately just to add some extra insurance. I really like this choice by the Viper. I don't think TaToH will be prepared for it or will really see it coming, and we know that TaToH really didn't wall this choke point either, because of course the Viper can see that. And the 3 militia are coming in. One of the other things is that the Vietnamese team bonus tells them that their matchups are pretty favorable, at least what I think they were looking for. We have the Berbers matching up versus the Mongols, which I think is what they wanted. And then the Vietnamese versus the Aztecs. Yeah, at least early on, the Vietnamese, or actually throughout the game, the Vietnamese kind of discouraged the archer line of play from the Aztecs because the Vietnamese have so many strong counters to that. Will the Viper find some deer hunters? Will he find some lumberjacks? It looks like yes.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing for me here. The deer from TaToH are so exposed, and Viper, he's seen the main goal, but he knows that TaToH's TC is to the right. He's probably not expecting TaToH's villagers to be so far away from home here, and if he does run into this deer patch, it's going to be his lucky day. However, so far, the Viper's skirting around the edge of that deer patch. He's not going to find them, and as a result, TaToH is going to be able to safely gather from those deer with those 6 villagers over there, and even take the boar as well. So this is a huge benefit for TaToH, and he's not so far being caught out. Viper, though, will see this lone villager going out to wall, and that could be toast. He could be toast, unless he can make it home, of course, and juke the Viper out. Oh, he's juked him out. He's juked him out.
Well,
oh, that was like a classic cartoon moment. You know when, like, they're chasing, like Scooby-Doo, chasing him down a corridor? And then they just slide into the left, and the enemies just run straight past them. It's basically what just happened. TaToH, juking the Viper. Love it. But has the Viper spotted the deer?
He has, yeah. He's finally found them with his scout, and one of the other things that's nice about this Drush here, there are a lot of factors that go into this decision-making. So the Viper knows that on Yucatan, Fast Castle Age is really favored as a strategy, and you don't have any military units early on because of that, and this is due to all the extra food resources. So, an early Drush like this, TaToH didn't have a barracks, and he actually still doesn't have one to defend against this. So all those villagers gonna be idle. He's gonna totally ruin this hunting operation. TaToH missing on all this deer, a boar that he already slew, and he's gonna have to back up even though he has the Eagle Scout, the superior Dark Age Scout. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, what the hell is DauT doing? He's building a house on the main stone mine of Nicov, and he's coming in with a spearman and 2 scouts.
Yeah, he's straight up to the feudal age here, looking to get aggressive quite quickly. Nicov reacting with 5 villagers building that barracks right there, and DauT making sure that this is going to remain open with that house, of course, going down on the stone, as you say. And sneaking a villager into the back. This could be huge. If that villager gets away with this, this could be massive. If she stays in the back here and starts pumping out some knights later on, catching Nicov completely unawares, that would be huge. So, Nicov, quick walling up. He's making sure he protects his villagers as best as possible. DauT so far not doing any damage, and Nicov could actually defend this quite effectively. I think he was looking for a fast castle, and I think he's still going to follow through with that as we see him lay a market foundation now, looking to defend from DauT's aggression. Surprisingly then, maybe, I guess, we kind of expected the aggression to come from TaToH and Nicov, the other way around. The Viper and DauT working together to aggress very early on.
Ladies and gentlemen,
also lamed all of TaToH's deer, but go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Age of Empires 2 Laming Edition. DauT and Viper trying their best to salt the earth as they see it. DauT putting these houses down on that secondary gold and secondary stone mine will make it very difficult for Nicov to gather from it. And he's just forcing all these palisade walls. Meanwhile, the Viper realizes he can't really get into TaToH's base, but that's fine. He's going to kill all those deer, and now TaToH has no extra hunt at all. He's the only player not playing Yucatan anymore because he has no choice. Boxed into his own base, DauT coming in with the scouts. This is some insane early pressure from these 2 players.
Yeah, this is the problem though for TaToH. He's on the way up to the castle age, but he has no gold because it's trapped out the front of his base. His second gold is out front, his third gold is out front. There's nothing back here apart from a little bit of stone and lots and lots and lots of trees as far as the eye can see. So for TaToH, I mean, he is going to get to the castle age, but he's not going to have much gold when he gets there. He doesn't have enough resource for a castle. He doesn't really have enough wood for a second TC yet, but I'm expecting him to throw down a second TC here and just play defensively. That does open up a lot of possibilities for Viper to come forward, for example, and we could already see Viper here taking enough stone to build a castle when he gets to the castle age. This is a great position for Viper and DauT, and I'm a little bit worried for TaToH and Nicov right now. Nicov should be the first to hit the castle age, though, if it's not TaToH. Yeah, it's going to be TaToH even. I think Nicov can make a lot more out of his castle age upgrade. TaToH's going to have a harder time, but we'll see. Now, I just realized something. You know, a while ago, in the last commentary, I made the mistake of calling the Viper the diaper by accident. It happened. I'm just amazed that I've not made that mistake so far, because DauT and the Viper, put them together, what do you get?
You get the diaper.
You do. That should be their team name. I'm telling you. I can't even remember what they signed up. That everyone.
Oh, it was Grassed Out.
Oh yeah, okay.
Grassed Out.
The team name was Grassed Out. Of course it was. Why would it not be? That is the most forced meme I've ever seen. But it's working so well. It's so funny. But anyway, TaToH here, a second and third TC coming up at the back, and that's expected, really. He's not really got any answer to this Drush and Scrush at the moment, and there's no real reason to have an answer to it if he can just defend behind these walls anyway.
Yeah, he can't afford to do anything else, literally, besides just booming, because he has no actual gold income whatsoever. So, and he's going to lose his market at some point too. This is looking very bad for TaToH. He has absolutely no map control whatsoever, but he can put down the additional town centers. Nicov in the castle age, what will his game plan be? It's so funny to see these two players just booming as if nothing happened. Building town centers right next to these houses. They're getting lamed, and the Viper and DauT knew that that was the game plan, that they were going to try and boom really hard, so they wanted to do everything they could to disrupt that strategy, and I think they've done a good job at it. Now can they press the advantage? Because here, look at those 4 villagers from the Viper. He's not done yet.
Yeah, I kind of thought he'd come forward, and that's a little bit more than 4 vills. I can count 9 villagers for that castle drop here. Viper will be putting a castle on this hill, no doubt, and oh no, not even on the hill, at the bottom of the hill, just so it's a little bit closer to the TC. And TaToH, I mean, the heat, the pressure, it's on right now. But what I find quite amusing is that TaToH is open at the back, and he's been open at the back this whole time. Viper and DauT just, like, focused on attacking the walls, when they could have actually come around the flank and then actually hit TaToH from the back here.
So it looks like this scout actually got trapped in by the Viper, so we have our first confirmed team kill in Return of the Kings. 1 scout down the drain. Either way, TaToH's in a ton of trouble. And he's in even more trouble because he has no gold. It's going to be almost impossible for him to defend this. I think that it's an interesting decision that the Viper would decide to put his castle on the low ground. And this is because he just wants more pressure. He's not worried about losing this castle anytime soon. He knows TaToH is in absolutely no position to remove that. You need so much gold to remove a castle. You need like 5 battering rams. And now TaToH has to partition his base. He has to amputate a limb. Lose the front half of it. And he has almost nowhere to run. He's pinned up right against the wall, and there's nothing to mine. He needs to find some gold mines at the back, and I feel like that's what his Eagle Warrior is looking for.
Yeah, interestingly, TaToH's just like gone and built a monastery at the far north of the map to grab that relic. And I'm wondering what happened to DauT's sneak villager. Is she still alive? I think she died, right? Because that would have been wonderful to see DauT with a sneak at the back. DauT right now, though, it's actually only on 2. It's going up to 3 TCs. He's booming away, whilst his teammate Viper does all the damage here on the front. Viper adding in a siege workshop as well, and yeah, that TC is going to go down. And like you said, I mean, I feel like we're watching a couple of very low rated players, you know, when like you know it's over and you've seen that meme, you've seen the one where it says all of my villagers have died, I've only got 2 left, but we can rebuild and repopulate from here. And you know, you go and wall yourself into a tiny corner of the map. I feel like we're seeing that with TaToH right now as he just tries to, you know, rebuild and come back from this. It's going to be incredibly hard though, as Viper here just applies this pressure, and with a siege workshop coming in as well, he will be putting pressure on this wall as also. Nicov going to have to save the day here, and I think he's going to try and do just that, but it will be a very difficult battle to win.
You know you're desperate when your only source of gold income is a monastery built in the corner of the map, and you can't even afford to build a monk to take it. Absolute disaster. And with this market going down, TaToH has absolutely no gold income, but he did manage to barely sell enough resources. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry about it. TaToH has the gold income. backed by the Aztecs, 33% faster. He'll be just fine. Watchtower, zoning back the Rattan archers. Great to see TaToH actually closing off the other side of his base with those stone walls. Nicov also paranoid enough to use a palisade wall himself off from his teammate. And really, TaToH in so much trouble. It's gonna come down to Nicov clobbering DauT, because Nicov has the civilization. He has the counter. Will it be enough? We'll have to see.
Yeah, he's got it all to do right now, and the thing I'm seeing here is Nicov taking a lot more villages on stone than DauT, so I'm expecting Nicov to have that castle a little bit sooner. The thing is, though, Viper now turning his attention a little bit. He's had enough of taking TaToH out of this game, and he's turned his attention over towards Nicov now, sending those Rattan archers out there. Probably going to be bringing some siege over there as well, I imagine. For now, though, his ram is actually just taking down houses of TaToH, not really achieving much. TaToH adding his third TC right in the north of the map, but he's lost so much ground. He's lost all of that gold. If he doesn't get it back, Viper will be able to take that himself later on, and that's just not a position you want to be in. So Nicov now on the defense. The Rattan archers are coming in. There is a mangonel here, though, and Viper going to dodge that shot and probably hesitate to go in. There's only one gap into Nikov's base, and Viper doesn't want to go in there and get absolutely smashed by those, or that one mangonel even. I'm wondering, though, who's going to be first to the Imperial Age here? It looks like we're going to see all these guys a little bit far away for now, but I think Nicov might be the first to click up, if that counts for anything, and I think it might do, given that he is now under so much pressure to save his teammate's ass.
So one of the things that we do when we're designing a civilization to try and incentivize players to go for their Castle Age unique unit, or at least to make it a viable option, is by giving their archer plus 6 attack rather than 5. And what this means is that if you have fletching and bodkin arrow, you can actually eat through Castle Age mangonels, which are a traditional counter to that. So it gives you an interesting decision between whether or not you want to make crossbowmen, which are much easier to mass up, but a lot easier to counter, or you want to make a unique unit like the Rattan archer, which is much better equipped to dealing with mangonels, the standard counter. The Viper, though, does fear Nikov's defenses a little bit, so he will be backing up. And now the Viper turns his attention yet again to TaToH, who is really on the back foot, but at least he has a castle now, and he's actually he has a town center in the corner. He has a gold mine. Maybe he can claw his way back into it.
Yeah, maybe. That gold is coming in slowly but surely in the north of the map there. Now, Viper here, still pushing forward. He's taken out the TC from TaToH at the front now, and he's going to be moving on towards the gate. TaToH still has no defense for this. One watchtower is not enough to stop a ram at this point, and I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on. He needs to build something. The problem is he's not got a barracks or anything right now. And even if he could build a barracks or something, where would he build it? He's going to have to build it quite far away from the action. Anyway, at least Nicov does have his castle up on the front. At least that's something. And he's closing in on that Imperial Age upgrade as well. He did get his castle up before DauT. And Nicov right now, neglecting to build any military, I think he wants that Imperial Age upgrade before he goes and helps his teammate out. And also, I question whether or not making the Camel Archers is a good choice right now. Because we've already seen, and Viper has already shown, that he is making a lot of Rattan Archers right now. Oh, Petard, on the wall.
On whose wall?
Going down.
On TaToH's wall. Now I see that.
Yeah.
I think you make a good point, and that's why I also like their team comp a lot. And the Vietnamese do kind of cover that Berbers weakness quite a bit. And Nicov, yeah, he has to make that tough decision. Does he want to invest in military right now, or does he value the Imperial Age more? And the answer is he values the Imperial Age more, and I think that that's fine. TaToH also made the right decision, I think, by making a watchtower to try and defend himself, because he didn't have any gold income to make a mangonel to try and stall. So a watchtower with garrison villagers is kind of the next best thing as a ghetto mangonel. It deals 1 damage repetitively to things like enemy mangonels and battering rams, so buys him a little bit of time, crucially allowing him to survive. The Viper, though, will be denied, as there's another layer of walls behind that from TaToH, so he's doing a good job, clinging on for dear life. But I can't help but worry that DauT is huge, and that Nicov has a really full plate.
Yeah, Nikov's at 99 population right now. DauT is at 114, so DauT has outboomed Nicov at this point of the game. And considering Viper's position right here as well, I do think this is going to be just such a slippery slope here for Nicov and TaToH. I feel like they're falling into the abyss here as, you know, DauT's about to click up to him. He has just made the click. Viper as well, with his second castle on the front now. The pressure is really ramping up. And let's see how these Camel Archers fare here. I mean, 60 HP, 1 Pierce Armor. They're not too bad right now, but I do still think that the Rattan Archers are going to come out on top ultimately.
Yeah, and it's not... Okay, so DauT will be going for Mangadai, which is fairly expected. So Nicov has a good opportunity here. He has some Mangonels too. Will that be enough? I'm not entirely sure. It's also one thing I wanted to point out is that all the laming that DauT did early on with that house on that stone mine and that one turkey blocking the way actually really slowed down Nikov's stone income. So that laming eventually paid off. It's something that's very difficult to quantify, but those villagers were getting stuck on each other, and that does slow that down. Camel Archers are out, but the Rattan Archers are here as the counter. The Viper walking straight through the middle of the map, and it's like I just said earlier, they eat those Mangonels.
Oh yeah, they do. There's Mangonels both going down. Nice micro from the Viper there, closing the distance to the Mangonel, picking off the villager, and he'll get the second Mangonel as well. Lovely stuff. Hopefully I'm not too far ahead of you guys, and I've not spoiled it for everyone in the chat. But yeah, right now, Viper looking like he can stand toe-to-toe with the Camel Archers as well for the time being. And what's interesting is that these walls from Viper and DauT basically contained Nicov within this area of the map. Nicov is completely contained here, and I really like that from them. They're just kind of putting him into a box and saying, right, Nicov, you might be getting stronger than your teammate, but you're still boxed in. And until you get out of your box, me and DauT, we've got the map control. This is our turf, and it's going to be a real tough fight for Nicov to take. DauT is going into the Mangadai as expected. I mean, we said it from the start even. We do expect the Mangadai 100% of the time in team games at least, and he is still going to go down that route. I just don't think that it's going to matter, even if the Camel Archers counter the Mangadai here. I just feel like Viper and DauT are too far ahead at this stage of the game.
Right, and one of the other things that comes into play here is another thing that we did with the Rattan Archer is it has 4 Pierce Armor in the Castle Age, and this means that if you're able to keep up with fletching and Botiner and whatnot, that you can actually beat them quite handily. That you can kind of nullify that Pierce Armor if the Vietnamese player can't keep up with it, especially without eco bonuses, difficult for them. But in the Imperial Age, which the Viper will be there in the not too distant future, right? And the Viper is like 50-60% of the way there. They get 6 Pierce Armor, which is enough to basically eat up most Imperial Age ranged units with ease. And I feel like this includes the Camel Archer, and that means that the Viper is going to have a huge edge here. Now Nicov, caught! He has to back out, path through these walls that the Viper left. The Viper going to get a bunch of free pickoffs. This Treb's down.
That Treb, though, feels bad, man. But I want to add, you know, Viper here is actually slower to the Imperial Age than TaToH. And why is that? Well, part of the reason for that is that although TaToH did take a beating here in the early game, he did lose that forward TC, he still built 3 TCs, and he actually, you know, considering it's the Aztecs, he does get a huge amount of extra food from his farms. So he was actually able to click to the Imperial Age very quickly, considering, and TaToH now on the comeback, he's actually caught up to the Viper in population. He's going mass skirms in answer to these Rattan Archers. And I mean, okay, Rez, maybe you can give us a bit of a better picture about how those skirmishes fare against the Rattan Archers, because if you look at those stats, those Rattan Archers have a higher Pierce Armor.
That they do. And the answer is, it's okay. And it's only okay purely because of the hidden attack bonus that these skirmishers have versus the Rattan Archers. So that's what's doing most of the damage here. Because, right, otherwise they're doing a measly 1, which makes them okay. They don't trade favorably, but it's good enough considering that the skirms don't... Oh, yeah?
Oh, just the Mangadai coming in from DauT here. They're going to catch those Trebuchet of TaToH. And as we know, nice. Mangadai do get a nice bonus against Siege. Can TaToH save the Trebs, though? The villagers coming in to repair. That Trebuchet on 2 HP, and the other one on like 10. TaToH actually repairs it. And the castle enough to push DauT away. Oh, that was going to be
What?
huge for DauT, but TaToH saves the day. Those clutch villagers right there. And I think that TaToH and Nicov are now actually in a position to start pushing this back as Nicov deploys his 4 trebuchets on the castle of Viper there, and that's going down so quickly. Those camel archers coming into the fight. I do think that those rattan archers should clean that up, though, and yeah, Nikov's got to be very careful. He's got to get back behind the trebs, and meanwhile, of course, the Mangonel are going to be laying out the damage to those trebuchets as well. Scary stuff for Nicov here as he gets caught out of position yet again, and I really thought that was going to be the push right there as well.
Oh, scary stuff indeed. What immaculate micro and control from TaToH, keeping that trebuchet alive. We're seeing a big engagement here where the rattan archers are being very, very strong. They're not even elite. They are forcing the retreat. I could have sworn that push was going to be a wash, and it actually wasn't, as they just had the better units. So basically, yeah?
That was 1,000 golden wood just thrown away for Nicov right there. That's just ugly. Ugly.
Ugly indeed. Now, TaToH is also massing skirms because of the Atlatl, unique technology for the Aztecs, which grants them 1 additional range and attack, which is actually some excellent, excellent value. If only they had the Vietnamese in their team for Imperial Skirm. But they don't. One of the things I think that is really being decisive this game is, like you mentioned earlier, is that TaToH got to the Imperial Age before the Viper, and you always want to get those trebs out first to win those treb wars. The Viper, though, with the superior unit choices, cleaning this up with the support of these elite Mangudai.
Yeah, but how long has this purely archer civ from, or archer combination from Viper and DauT gonna last when the janitors arrive to mop the floor with these archer units? Because they are coming, and they are coming out right now. The elite janitors +4/+4 from Nicov, and you can bet your ass that these rattan archers and these Mangudai are going down, but not before DauT makes his mark on this game, because that is a lot of siege rams pushing through the center of the map as DauT comes forward here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 siege rams, counting with escape AoE right here as DauT deploys onto these castles, and they are going to go down so quickly, because where is Nikov's army? Not defending the castles, that's for sure.
Yeah, and of course, the camel archers don't eat siege rams. Speaking of conscious design decisions, by the way, we recognize that the Vietnamese is a really annoying civilization to deal with. They're very difficult to remove because they have so many defensive bonuses. They've got bombard towers and everything. So they don't have masonry or architecture critically, thus significantly weakening the Viper's hold on TaToH's base, losing those castles, and with that, so much momentum. And now Nicov caught completely off guard. His mono archer army, DauT has the answer, and the answer is siege rams.
With drill, no doubt, no less as well, because they hold the Mongols. So
Nice.
That's 2 castles down. Make that 3, and DauT super speedy rams right here. No answer from Nicov whatsoever. And okay, the janitors, they can clean up the rattan archers, but they cannot clean up these rams. DauT, is he just going to ram train his way through Nikov's base? Is Nicov just going to have no answer to this as his front door gets smashed open by a ram's head? Like, oh, it's so ugly for Nicov right now. And just as TaToH was pushing back against the Viper, just as he was starting to regain that hill and actually start mining his main gold this game, this happens to Nicov, and it just looks like, oh goodness me, that could be it.
I love the dynamics that are happening between these civilizations right now, but poor Nicov, he has 3,500 gold in the bank, 3,000 plus wood. Why? Is it because he's bad? No, it's because he lost all of his castles and he lost all of his houses. So he's been housed at 160 out of 130 population. It's dropping fast. DauT remembers that there's a 5th resource in this game, and that is population. He can't make anything at all to defend against this. He has to pull villagers off the line, so Nicov in so much trouble.
Yeah, Nicov actually super housed. Obviously, those 3 castles providing 60 population headroom. Now he's just got nothing. And DauT just, gonna go through, clean up the front, take out all the military production buildings. Oh, he's not gonna stop there. He's gonna take out your TC, and then he's gonna go find your farms, and then the farms are gonna go. He's gonna take out more houses. I don't know if Nicov can actually recover from this. And meanwhile, okay, what's the Viper doing here? He's got to be bringing over some units to support this, surely. What a great push from DauT. And I don't think that Nicov is going to stop this.
Well, the Viper wants to mix in some Imperial skirmishers. He only has the elite ones so far. Poor Nicov, though. He just can't make any military units. He's putting in all these stables, but for what? He's just going to have to keep throwing away villagers if he wants to make more military. His economy in shambles, all of his farms dying. God. is so hard for him to deal with. TaToH trying to defend him with skirms, and now that TaToH finally has some gold income, he's going to need to mix in some stronger units. The Viper, though, is prepared for the second coming of TaToH, and he is putting down a castle. He is fortifying his own base on that side in case TaToH decides to counterattack. Now TaToH gonna stonewall off his teammate, amputate him, sees that Nicov is in pretty bad shape, might as well block that one off.
Yeah, well, the thing is here, like, Viper is actually not that far ahead compared to TaToH right now. TaToH's actually got the score lead, and in fact, TaToH here is going to take over in population as well. So I think TaToH, I mean, he's got something here. He could still do something, but Nicov is so down and out, and with all those Imperial skirmishes from Viper coming in as well, TaToH needs more than just this skirmisher army that he's fielding right now.
4,000 gold in the bank. This housing crisis is devastating, and poor Nicov just needs to build more houses. He's trying desperately right now. A major credit to TaToH for building his way back in the game. He is strong. The Viper is not that threatening right now, but the critical thing is that with Nicov out of the picture, there's just not enough firepower for their team. They're really running out of time. TaToH going to put down a siege workshop now that he has the gold to spend it, but they're going to call GG those Rams.
Yeah, the price of housing going through the roof there for Nicov, as there's just such a shortage of homes for these poor villagers. Supply and demand. Yeah, I mean, right now, it's looking like a very dominant victory for DauT and Viper. They were super in control of that game from the very early stage. You know, you saw Viper coming in, denying all of that gold from TaToH in the very early point of the game, with the castle drop on the hill, just fortifying that, and then you saw DauT just booming up massively and just ram training it through once he hit Imperial. DauT and Viper are going to secure themselves another point and getting themselves that bit closer to a victory here. A good game, though, nevertheless. I did think TaToH might have been able to have more impact, to be honest. Once he got Imperial, I was actually thinking he'd have a little more impact there, but it seemed like he wasn't able to really support TaToH very well in the sort of later stages of the game. Rough game for both TaToH and Nicov there, but very well played by DauT, using those rams really effectively.
Yeah, overall, I think this was an excellent game between both teams, and with so many back and forth moments, but I gotta say, Mongols really pulling through here despite dealing with the Berbers. Great play, and I'm very much looking forward to the following game.
Alright, Nipford, if you are there and ready to give us some analysis, you can go ahead and do that right now.
Oh boy, yeah. I think before the Rampage, it actually looked pretty even. And yeah, it was just simply going for the same unit type here for Nicov really hurt him. I think when he saw all the Rams, and he knew he had an army that could actually beat the army of DauT, he simply should have pulled 30 villagers and just sacrificed them, but save your houses. I think you will always lose the castles, you will always fall behind, but you can still participate in the game. Losing 30 villagers is so much better than being completely out of the game here. And you see, he had 5k wood, 5k gold, and didn't sling anything. If TaToH had all those resources, he could have added 20 onagers as support. But they're just trying to get houses up and simply just build 20 houses. It's so much better, but he always did like 4 here, 3 here. Oh, I lost another 5, then built 2 new ones, and he was stuck for so long. It really hurt, but incredible surprise move there by DauT. And yeah. Okay.